Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you're having a great Friday morning so far. Hope you had a great work week. This is an update, a morning update. We're going to run over all the new information from overnight, from this morning, and we're in close enough time frame where we can go over the dynamics of the storm also in these morning videos. So this is pretty much just the latest update of everything. So let's break down what's going on. We still have Tropical Storm Ida. It's not a hurricane yet, but it's now forecast to become a major hurricane, which is 115 miles per hour or higher. That's category 3 or higher, which is the major threshold in the National Hurricane Center world. So here we are. You can tell with the low level clouds that there is a nice spin right around here. It's going to be hard to see on your screen, but the white clouds right here is the low level spin, and it's just north of the Grand Cayman Island. And I'm going to show you a radar imagery here, but still, most of the explosive convection is still well north to northeast to west of the main low-level circulation. So you have a nice mid-level spin in these areas right here, but you can tell, and let's go on and look at it here. You can really tell that this storm is really trying to get its act together now. This is the latest GIF, if you will, of the radar out of the Grand Cayman radar. Check out that spin right here. That is telling us that yes, this is an unhealthy tropical storm, but it's an organizing tropical storm. Most of all the nastiest weather is to the northeast, but you can tell this little spin right here, and this is the Grand Cayman Island. So some of the Cayman Islands are getting some nasty weather, and especially the eastern islands. And it looks like the main area of low-level circulation is moving just north of y'all in the Grand Cayman Islands. So this is going to continue to march northwest and affect western areas of Cuba and hit you guys as a tropical storm as this continues to intensify. Now, the latest update from the 5 a.m. advisory, by the time some of you watch this, it might be the 8 a.m., might be the 11 a.m., but the latest update from the 5 a.m. advisory is this is forecast to become a hurricane as early as tomorrow, Saturday, probably tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow early afternoon. Continue to strengthen, potentially rapidly intensify, which we shorten and call RI in the weather world sometimes. But you see what the M is right here? That stands for major. So it's now forecast to become a major hurricane by Sunday at some point and make landfall. What is unfortunate is the timing is still a little bit up in the air. It could make landfall as early as Sunday. It could make landfall as late as Monday morning. We're still trying to figure that out. But this is now forecast to become a major hurricane. And you can see this here, a little bit of a better view. I love this site. I've just found it yesterday here. If you click this, it shows up right here, and it's showing by 2 p.m. H3 standing for category 3, 115 miles per hour, just off the southeast coast of Louisiana, these swamp areas. If you're in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, I can't stress it enough, you're going to be on the dirty side of the storm regardless. Even if this track shifts a little bit west, which some guidance overnight has showed, you're still going to be on the nasty side of the storm, the side with the most severe storm surge. And we all know that this entire area, some area is actually below sea level, my bad, and 9 feet of storm surge. And check this out. I want to go on and show you guys this. I'm not going to get super detailed on the impacts in this video. I'm going to go more deep into that tonight. But I mean, check it out. You know, they're thinking the landfall is going to happen right around here. And that's why all the most intense storm surge is in this area. Plus, it's more low-lying areas. Now, don't get me wrong. This is low-lying areas down here too. But this thing's going to be spinning. All the nastiest weather's going to be on this side. So I'm praying to God no levees break around New Orleans. We don't need Katrina all over again. I don't even like to say that, but that is definitely a storm, a repeat storm we don't want. But you can't just totally knock that scenario out, because the way this is shaping up, the way New Orleans and Baton Rouge and the entire surrounding areas is going to be on this side of the storm. This is some bad storm surge. 7 to 11 feet in this area goes, in some areas, 100 miles inland in worst case scenario. It's because the area is swamp and it's low-lying areas. So this is a dangerous scenario coming up. So let's go over the latest. I hate these ads. I really got to listen to one of the comments that said this and put a ad blocker on here. The latest guidance here, and I forgot to mention, I always like to do this in the beginning of my videos. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button, like the video if you like it. Your support is definitely appreciated. And just thank y'all for the amazing support. So let's get going here. Here it comes. Here's our system right here. We're able to get a little bit closer to it. So we just had the southeast region pulled up. And as this storm is moving up, it is strengthening as we're getting into Saturday evening as a sub 980 hurricane, which is probably pushing Category 2 status at this point. The thing is this hurricane is going to look much different than it does Saturday into Sunday. There's going to be rapid intensification potential in that time period before making landfall, and it's going to strengthen all the way up into landfall. And the GFS has actually gotten a little bit stronger since yesterday, and that's because it's shifted a little bit west. Meaning it's going to have meaning it would have a little bit more time over the Gulf of Mexico. So now it has this thing getting close to a sub 50 millibar low, which is major status, Category 3 or higher. But still, even if it did this, if it was a little bit more west, if you will, the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas, it's still, this dirty side would still affect this area and be a dangerous storm. So this is the latest GFS, making landfall more so in the central areas of Louisiana. I will note the western sides of this storm is not going to be as intense as the eastern side of the storm. I've mentioned that many times in the last few videos, and that's just how these tropical systems normally work. This is what you call the dirty side, when you have the tornado threat, the most intense rains, and normally the most intense winds, but not always that. You look at the latest GFS, this GFS ensembles, and there's been a little shift west, but not a huge difference, but there has been a little bit. There's also been a trend for this to make landfall maybe a little bit lower. If you go back and look at the operational GFS, this makes landfall more so overnight to the wee hours of the morning Monday, well, overnight Sunday into Monday. So this would make landfall as a likely overnight hurricane, which it seems like every single hurricane last year, that's what it did. In fact, I think nearly every hurricane last year that made landfall was a nighttime hurricane, which doesn't make things any better. You look at the latest European from overnight, and it ticked a little bit west too. But the European has been pretty set on this scenario for a while, but it still gets it to pushing a Category 3 hurricane as a 969 millibar low, and it actually is in pretty good agreement with the GFS as far as timing as an overnight landfalling hurricane. Now that doesn't mean that all the impacts are going to happen overnight. This will begin, you will begin to see impacts in Louisiana as early as Sunday afternoon. That's definitely for sure. You look at the latest GFS ensembles, and like you said, there's been a little tick west. So you guys in the extreme southeastern areas of coastal areas of Texas, still monitor this. Still checking for updates. I see a lot of comments in my YouTube videos talking about, is Texas out the woods? Is Houston out the woods? You're going to need to see a substantial tick west for Houston to get into this, but still watch out if you're in the far eastern coastal areas of Texas, because this is still could potentially be a threat. So you look at the good old latest HWRF model, which can be super aggressive at times, but it also can be sometimes the first model to show rapid intensification. I do want to mention, if you're in the Keys, you might get a little bit of moisture and some outer bands from Ida. So, maybe a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of impact. So as you can tell, this crosses, back it up, crosses Cuba, gets into the Gulf of Mexico now, and check out this number right here. It begins to drop very quickly. That is because it's deepening. That is because it's strengthening rapidly. And I might run out of frames here because this 06Z run has not finished loading yet. But check it out here. We'll get to the latest frame, which is here. The latest HWRF model has this a sub 950 hurricane, which is a Category 4 hurricane, probably a low-end Category 4 hurricane, and it's flirting with the southeast coast of Louisiana and the swamp areas. This would be in the border of catastrophic. Note that Hurricane Laura was a 937 millibar storm, and it had 150 mile per hour winds. As the extremely high-end Category 4, it was 5 miles per hour shy of a Category 5 hurricane. So this is by Sunday morning. It's moving due west-northwest. So that if it keeps moving in this direction, it's going to move this way, not this way. if it keeps moving this way and then turns into the central coast areas of Louisiana, it still has a good 12 hours at least over water. So if this scenario was to play out, guys, this would be a Category 5 hurricane. But that's just one scenario. You look at the Gulf of Mexico and you see where this is possible. You see this tongue of very warm water that the storm is going to cross over. It's not going this way. It's going over this. So that's anywhere from 85 to 90 degree water. I can't stress this enough. You can't trust tropical systems in the Gulf of Mexico. We can say, hey, this is only going to be a Cat 2, a Cat 3 till the cows come home, and all model guidance can show that. But all bets are off when it gets in the Gulf of Mexico. It really is. Rapid intensification can occur. Most of the time it does occur. And I'll tell you another reason why it can occur is because you have an anticyclonic flow, and basically it's creating its own outflow, which is basically protecting the storm from any areas of shear. So there's extremely low shear, if any at all. The thing here is that this keeps ticking way west, then you have to watch out for the outflow from this tropical system in the Eastern Pacific. But most model guidance show this not really affecting this system at all. But this storm will be ventilating over very warm sea surface temperatures, almost hot sea surface temperatures. It'll be ventilating, and I mean, just look at this. It's like a barrier protecting the storm, helping it breathe. You look at basically the moisture out there and then the dry air. This does a good job showing how the storm creates its own environment here. There's no dry air nearby, even close to the center of the circulation. There's no dry air getting in. It's a great example showing that this storm creates its own environment because it gets so intense in the Gulf of Mexico. You know, you look at what's steering this, and you got a ridge of high pressure here building over. And this is why this has an extremely low chance of making some erratic turn and going into the panhandle of Florida. This ridge is poking its nose out even over, and the ridge is what I'm talking about as far as the orange as you see right here. It's poking its nose out as far southwest as Florida. So it'll round the base of this southwest ridge here, well, the southwest areas of this ridge. And therefore, the flow is going from this way. Therefore, the storm is moving that way. It's moving northwest. So eventually this ridge weakens. And by the way, I want to mention there's a possibility of a cold front next week, and I want to talk about that once we can get this hurricane out of the way, figure out what it's going to do. But there's a potential for a hurricane, for a cold front next week, and this actually might affect this storm once it gets inland. We'll talk more about that when the time is right. But thank y'all for everything. Thank y'all for watching my stuff. And like I said, if you're in Louisiana, anybody in the Gulf Coast, definitely prepare for the worst. So that's all I got. Thank y'all for tuning in, and y'all have a blessed Friday.